Hello and welcome to Papercrafting Playdate. My name is Robin Armbrecht at Really Robin Stamps. I'm so excited for you to join me today in my craft room. We're going to work on a card template that is super easy and very versatile. So we're going to do a couple little stamping techniques as well along the way. And so thank you so much for joining me. Today is April 25th, 2025. It is Friday. And if you're watching this live, happy Friday. This is episode 148 of Papercrafting Playdate, and so I welcome you. So let's grab a look at the stamping table because I have a bunch of cards to share. These are cards that I've received in the mail from you, and I love to showcase everybody's work because they're gorgeous, and I'm always honored to receive them in the mail. You guys always shower me with cards and it's such a blessing. All right, so this is an Easter card. It's a fun little fold. This is from one of my demonstrator friends, and we worked on this fold at our virtual gathering that we did a couple weeks ago. It's I forgot the name of it. It's like a four panel fold. Look at this focal point using all those cute little ephemera. Love it. This is a gorgeous bow too. Thank you so much, Marianne. This is a great Easter card and nice to display. So cute. This Easter card is from Sarah. Look at that wonderful holographic paper she cut into a scalloped rectangle. So pretty. We got shimmery little eggs that are embossed. This is a delightful card, Sarah. Thank you so much. Beautiful layers. I love it. This card is from Sherry. She made a Z fold and she mimicked the shapes on the inside. Beautiful. Love this paper. So sad that we're going to have to say goodbye to it really soon. Beautiful. It is retiring, as is this beautiful moody mauve color. This lovely card is from Donna. This is, well, we're doing something similar, a little bit similar techniques with the embossing and paper. I love how you can just quilt paper into a card like that. She's got this beautiful foiled paper there. Nice and simple. Doesn't have to be complicated. And then this lovely Easter card was from Lynn. She put this fun pop-up cross on the front. Love this idea. It's so pretty with that scenery paper. And then it just folds down to go in the mail. Brilliant. Thank you so much, Lynn. I love that. This is from Sherry. She did the 1, 2, 3 Z fold for her Easter card. Beautiful pattern paper she put together. I love it. Cute little focal point. It's perfect. Thank you, Sherry. I love it. Look at this fun quilt card. This is from Brenda. And she said she found this design from a video on YouTube by Glenda Calkins of the Stamp Camp. A beautiful thank you card with this cute little quilted bird. So sweet, isn't it? I love this. Thank you so much, Brenda. So cute. This beautiful card is from Cindy. Gorgeous layered rectangles. Beautiful. The colors, the tulips, so spring. It's screaming spring and everything good. This gorgeous card is also from a demonstrator friend, Deanna. She used those arched dies in such a beautiful way. I love how she textured this white paper. It just almost looks like a tunnel. It's such a great layering. And then this beautiful, this is stamped and then using the decorative mat and ink colors, adding layers of ink to color in that stamped flower. Stunning. I was trying so hard not to get this stamp set, and then because I have a lot, but I've just seen so many beautiful things with it. I did end up getting it. So yay. I don't have to be envious of that anymore. You can just enjoy it. This is a fun little technique. This is called like a drapery fold or a curtain fold across a card like that. And you get that nice textured effect. This is from Joan. So, so pretty. I love it when you can see both sides of the paper at the same time. Thank you everybody for this happy mail. Very generous and I love it. Thank you so much. All right, so we're going to get started on our template, but I'm going to just remind you, since this is the end of April, beginning May 6th, we are going to have a brand new catalog. And so can't show you anything inside yet, but things to look forward to. I will have a new catalog video at some point here in the next couple weeks to walk you through the catalog and point out some fun things and see some new things that are coming. I'm going to use some of new, in fact, this particular suite that's on the front of the catalog, I'm going to use that today with our card template. If you would like me to be your demonstrator, then you can request a catalog. There's a link in the description box for the video, and I will mail you a catalog. And I think that's it. So I'm going to stand up and we will get to our card template. Okay, so what is a card template? If you're brand new to me, then card template's really like just a recipe for a card. And it's a great way to jumpstart your creativity. If you're stuck or you don't have any ideas, you don't have something to copy, this is a great way to jump into crafting, afternoon, whatever, you're going to sit down and make some cards. And so a lot of times templates are pattern paper driven because they use different chunks of pattern paper in different ways. And so this is similar to that. And so it uses 3 pieces of designer series paper. And you want to pick patterns that coordinate together and kind of play off of each other. And so it's really nice when you have an entire pack of paper to be able to pick out, 3 patterns that go together. So I'm going to showcase this paper for our first card. And this is called Florals in Bloom. And so there's all these gorgeous flowers on one side, and then coordinating patterns on the other side. And so when I was deciding what I was going to use for this first template card, I wanted to pick one of the florals and then pick some coordinating patterns, because these are all different and about the same size of image on the paper. And so they don't necessarily go together, right? So you have to mix and match them with other things. And I really love this one. And so I wanted to find papers that coordinated with this. And so I looked to the backs and saw that this paper includes our new secret sky and cloud cover. And so I decided that I was going to put these 3 patterns together. Okay. One of the other things about this template that's really handy is that, and this is why I called it the perfect 2-inch friends. Okay, so every piece is 2 inches wide in this pattern, and so that's a really easy cut to make, especially with 12 by 12 designer's paper. So one of the pieces on our template is 2 inches by 4 inches. That's DSP 1. The other one's 2 inches by 3 inches, and then this is a 2-inch square. And so those are all easily cut from, 2-inch strips. So if you think about it, let's say you're making multiple cards, this would be a great template to use. So with one piece of 12 by 12, if you're going to cut it up into 2 by 4-inch strips, you get 18 from a whole piece, 18 pieces. So let's just say we want to make 18 cards all at one time, because sometimes you need to, right? And then the second piece that you pick, 2 by 3, you're going to get actually 24 of that piece. So to make this even, right, you just wouldn't cut 6, which is really easy with these strips, and I'm going to show you in a second. It means you just use like 3/4 of this piece. And then the 2-inch squares, you get 36 of those from one sheet. And so again, we're going to cut that down. So this is a portrait card. And so when I'm going to cut DSP number 1, I'm going to think about the pattern of the flowers, and I want them to be up and down like this. And so I'm going to turn this and cut my 4 inches this way. So we get 3 4-inch strips. Okay, and then I can stack them. And I'm going to cut them into 2-inch pieces like that. Okay, and we would get 18 of these. And I'm not going to cut all of them, but just so you can see. Okay, so I need one for my template. And now let's do this one. This is going to be the 3-inch. So when you're thinking about patterns, it's always great to have one that's kind of incorporates all the colors that you want to put in your card, and then have 2 patterns that just kind of coordinate or contrast with that. So that's why I picked the stripe and then this one. So this we're going to do for this DSP number 2, which is 2 inches by 3 inches. I want these stripes to go this way, like that, with my piece. Okay, so that means my 2 inches go this way. So I'm going to cut. We need 18, right? So I would cut, that's through 4. You get it, right? And then you would turn these. So you don't have to use that whole piece. Cut that at 3 inches. Okay. And then our last one, our square, our 2-inch square is going to be out of this one. And so I would just have to cut 3 strips to get 18 pieces. Okay, you get what I'm doing here, right? I'm just doing this exercise just to show you how easy it is to make multiple cards, especially when you've like kind of picked out your patterns, they already go together and it's nice and easy. Go ahead and cut, like I'll finish this later and cut them all up, and they'll probably be thank you notes for next month, at least 18 of them. Okay, so here's my 3 pieces. My 3 pieces of designer series paper. And now what you need, of course, is your card base, and then you need a trimmed quarter to put these on. So let's go ahead and attach these. So the basic part of this template is that you're going to stamp the greeting right onto this quarter sheet. So you might want to do that first before you glue it down, just in case you need to flip it over, right? So I'm using this new sentimental framing stamp set because I like this size of greeting that's going to kind of go across the bottom here. This is the new Secret Sea. It's a beautiful dark bluish black. Okay, so here's how you glue these together. This piece is going to be in this corner with a 1/4 inch margin, okay, on the top and the left side. Okay, and then the 2 by 3 inch piece is going to overlap by 1/2 inch to leave another 1/4 inch on this side. And you couldn't put it right in the middle, but I kind of want the square to end up being right in the middle of the card. You see how it's kind of centered here? And so I like to put this a little offset on along the edge, the 4-inch edge, so that there's a 1/4 inch right here and then a 1/4 inch over there. Okay, and then our last piece gets centered in the middle of this, up from the top and the bottom. It gets centered on that 3-inch square, and then you want to center it in the middle of the card. And that'll be, because this is 4 inches wide, you're going to have 1 inch on each side. Okay, so these are both kind of stripes, right? So I'm going to turn this one so the stripes are a little bit going in a little bit different direction. Okay, the card base I picked as Secret C. Okay, so now all you need to finish this card, this is, like I said, this is the basic version here, is to put some kind of die cut that's going to overlap these cards and just kind of tie everything together. And so this is just representative of some kind of stamped die cut image or an actual die cut. And so here is the bundle that I'm using, and this is going to be available starting May 6th for the next year. It's called Pretty Florals, and it's a really easy 2-step stamping. So you've got the solid images and then the detail images and then the stems and leaves to put them on. And all of those get cut out. Plus there's additionally pieces that just make solid flowers that you can kind of incorporate into your bouquets and stuff like that. So I'm going to do this flower, and I'm going to do it in the purple. So we have a pop of the purple, and we'll do Shaded Spruce is the stem color. Little piece of scratch paper here, so we're going to stamp off. So this is 2-step stamping, so there's a solid and a detail, and so I'm going to do the detailed first, because in this case it's a little easier that way. I'm going to do that in full strength, and then I'm going to use the same color of Petunia Pop, and so I'll take off some of the ink by stamping it on my scratch paper and then filling in those flowers. It's super easy to do. Okay, so I've already used the dies and cut those out because we've got lots to cover. Okay, so we're just gonna simply put a little die cut. It's going to just kind of overlap these two over here. Just like that. How simple is that? Zoom in just a little bit. I'm going to pop up this flower. Okay. And then we'll add some embellishments. So these are going to be the new in color flat pearls, and they have just this beautiful shimmery kind of iridescent look on them. So I'm going to use the Secret Sea. So depending on which, there's so many little cute corners here to put the embellishments on. So depending on the size of your die cut or the patterns of your paper, you just kind of pick where these are going to show up the best. Okay, so we just made it super simple. Here's the Sentimental Framing Stamp Set. This is actually part of a bundle that will be coming. And it has these very intricate shaped dies. So you can get them together, you can get them separate. Okay, so that is our pretty florals using the Florals in Bloom paper. Okay, so let's start getting the creative juices going. So here is one with the gingham and floral vellum. This is currently available in the mini catalog. And this actually is my thank you note that I'm sending out to customers who placed orders in March. And so you might get one if you placed an order. Isn't it pretty how the vellum kind of reveals, you can see through it a little bit. So pretty. And then this is the Mixed Media Florals paper. This one's just on a little Z-fold card, so I could use more of that pretty paper. I first thought maybe I was going to be able to use this die cut on the front, but it's really, that one is too big for this little design here. Okay, and then this one is with the Lovely Garden Designer Series paper. And so this one is different because I made, instead of white, made the garden green color be the background, did a little bit of stamping with some words, and then sent it through the new corrugated embossing folder to give it all kinds of texture. Okay, so that's our basic template. And as we do, we're going to kind of explore other ways to use this template. We'll keep those over there. Okay, so I wanted to just kind of show you how you can use Designer Series, excuse me, paper. Obviously that's easy, but you could also do cardstock, plain cardstock, and kind of just create more of a backdrop for a focal point cluster. So when you look at this, right, you are drawn to that busy Designer Series paper that's kind of setting the mood for the card, right? And then these papers are backup. So let's just say you want your focal point to really pop. You could use, so I used two-tone cardstock for this, mounted them on crumb cake. And so I just flipped this. I just moved this down so that I can put the greeting on the top, okay? This is still in the center, essentially. And so wanted to start here. And to make this like melt away so that the focal point really stands out, we're going to go ahead and emboss this whole thing with an embossing folder to kind of give it a quilted look. So I'm going to use the Dashing Designs 3D folder. So now we've kind of just created, it looks like more one piece, right? Instead of multiple pieces. And so what we're going to do is take some ephemera. So this is the Spring Celebrations Mix and Match Ephemera Pack. This is currently in the Spring Mini Catalog, but it is on the last chance list. And I have not had time to use it, so we're using it today. So it's really cute. So this one has 2 sheets of these 3 designs. Let's move this so you can see them. And they're all obviously spring things. And so I wanted to create a little focal point cluster with some of these things. And so we're going to take our little focal image here, and then we're going to take a bunch of these supporting little pieces, and we'll take one of these branches for our nest, and this leaf, and this little pink flower, and then we'll use this as a greeting. And so when I picked these colors, I just picked the colors in here, the yellow, the orange, and then the little hint of pink. And since this is like nice and brown, it's all just going to pop really nicely. Okay, so you remember from our focal point cluster classes, right? You kind of need a main image, and then you just need some supporting things and lots of greenery. And so we're going to, let me do this one here. We're going to attach, you know, the nest to the branch, and then have some beautiful greenery sticking out. Like that. There's this little green guy over here. We're just going to create something to put right on top of our beautiful little backdrop. So the card is very neutral, and then we've got that pop of color. Okay, so I already like stuck this together so that we didn't have to sit and glue. So when I put it all together with my liquid glue, this, I kind of put it in this shape so it would fit right on there. So we just want to make sure it kind of stays down. So I'm going to put glue in all the little spots. And I want to make sure you can see some of the corners. Put our greeting up on the top. Just thinking about adding that one. I do like that butterfly. We're going to go ahead and put that on there. Out of the way. Okay, so this we're just kind of switching it up, thinking we flipped it a little bit. Just add an accent of some linen thread. I don't think that glue dot's stuck. There we go. The link for the template isn't working yet because it doesn't go live until after the video, but it is all there and ready for you. Okay, so we've got that so far. I feel like I'm far away today. Let me hold it up so you can kind of see the layers on there. And I'll just take some of the pretty and pink shimmer gems. Just want to keep it contained in there, just to give it a little shimmer. Oh, thank you, Donna, for saying that, because that is so. My first point was this is a great template for mass producing, but it's also, as Donna pointed out, super great for using up scraps. If you've got the dregs of your paper packs, this is a great, these little pieces are really easy to cut. Okay, so this is, we're starting to think outside the box. You can pull in a tag for this 4-inch piece. This is one of the tags that comes with the wildflower celebrations. Okay, you can flip it up too, and you can make this, if you have a really beautiful piece of background paper, make that in the background, that quarter sheet, the nice bold pattern, and then make these two pieces simple or of cardstock. So this is basic black, and I embossed it, and then I used one of the other plain pieces of designer series paper, and then used, instead of designer series paper, made that where the focal point greeting goes. So it's just a tiny change up. And then I had the idea, like, what if it was just an all white card? I haven't made one of these for a really long time. And so I thought, let's just try to make like an elegant card in all white. And so these pieces are the same size, but I ran them through the new embossing folder. And then these are the flowers that I was talking about from the first card that we did. These are the pieces that make their own, flowers. They don't just cut out the stamps. They create their own like cardstock flowers, and they're already, they have the beautiful slits in that to make it look like parts of the stems. So that's this flower, and then this detail, this leaf, and this leaf. Okay, so just something different, right? If you're not doing the designer series paper kind of thing, just think about using this to create texture and layer on your card, and then put something kind of bold on there or subtle. Okay, so now we're going to take it even a little bit further. We're going to use the template, and we're going to not use designer series paper at all. And so let's just start with some basic white. This is 8.5 by 11. Oops. Oh, sorry. I never understand which way this goes. Okay. So this is 8.5 by 11, and we're going to cut a 2-inch strip, since everything, this perfect 2-inch friends. This is the name of the template. I'm just going to cut, so you could get 4 strips out of a piece of 8.5 by 11, and then you cut your 4-inch, your 3-inch, and your 2-inch, and then you're actually left with another 2-inch, right? So you could get and make 4, card front pieces, plus you'd have 4 extra little 2-inch squares that are very handy to have around. Okay, so we're going to put in a technique here, do a little collage stamping. And so let's use our template here. I wanted to share this with you too, because sometimes when I start, I try to think up a good card template. I like to just kind of work in grays and whites, right? And so these are the pieces. It's just copy paper, so you can kind of, when I was thinking about this, I was like, okay, how do we play with this, right? And these sizes are just really handy too. And of course, you can turn this card to make it a horizontal card, and you could just adjust these, right? And you'd have a cute little layout that way. These sizes are super easy, to work with as well. You could do something like that, right? So when you're playing, right, or you're bored, or you want to just kind of cut up some copy paper into sizes that are easy to cut for you, and then see what you can do with them. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to just arrange these so I get them layered right. I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive just to stick these together like I want them to be on the card. And then we're going to do the triple time technique on so I'm just using that as a guide here. So what we're going to do is take some background stamps and just stamp all of these at the same time, and then we're going to separate them and mount them. And so I wanted to pick a good collage set, and I love this online exclusive Elements of Text. It's just different beautiful fonts and splatter stamps. It's like a must-have if you like to collage or just create backgrounds. And then I'm going to sneak peek here another something from the new catalog. This is a suite, and there are a couple stamp sets in the suite, and this is one of them, Gallery Blooms, and it's just got a really nice collage look to it. So we're going to use some of those pieces and some of the script. Okay, so I wanted to just kind of show you how I use the color coach sometimes. And so, especially with collage, I always recommend that you kind of start with like a monochromatic colors to kind of create your basic collage, and then you add a pop of a contrast or a complementary color. And so here is the little window for monochromatic. And so I kind of wanted to be over here in these red orange tones over here. And so this little window here kind of just helps you focus your eyes into what colors you might want. And I kind of went right here, and I really liked the Petal Pink and Calypso Coral. I use those together all the time. Okay, so that's where I started. Okay. But complementary is another, so I know I'm going to pick Petal Pink and Calypso Coral, but I'm going to move this now to complementary, okay, in the same window, and that's going to give me a window on the other side to show me what's complementary, okay, and that gave me Coastal Cabana, Lost Lagoon, Pretty and Peacock, Pool Party, right? So this is like a blue-orange complementary. And so I picked Pool Party and Peacock. That's just going to be the pop of color, okay? And so let's start with our largest image to collage. And where is my... Since this is a photopolymer stamp set, and we're stamping over 3 pieces of cardstock at the same time, I want a little bit of give there so that I can go across these 3 layers. Okay, so we're going to do 1, 2, 3. Okay, so those are our main images, and now we're just going to fill in with some of the smaller ones. So I picked this smaller flower for our pop. So just do 3 of those. Okay, I'm going to take the Pool Party with our words, and I'm just going to kind of lightly put this around. It's going to cover up some of the flowers, but I'm going to try to not do all of them. Okay, just to get a little blue on there. And then we'll take our splatter and we'll just kind of fill in where there's white space and try not to go over all the flowers, but it's a collage, so that's okay. Okay, so sometimes if I don't I don't put full pressure, I use the side of the stamp to kind of fill in. Okay, I'm liking that. So let's do our sponging or our blending, because that's how we make everything pop. I'll link the collage, the basic collage video down in the description box as well if you want to go back and revisit collage. And then there's also a whole video on this triple time technique with different layouts for it, because it's kind of a fun, easy technique. So I'm just taking the same color ink that I stamped in and blending over it to make kind of all the white disappear for this technique. So I'm just filling in with the Pool Party now. Okay, so we've got those colors, and then let's add just a little bit of Peacock, and we'll just splatter even less with using a blend, and just put a couple little splatters on there. And I'm being real gentle with that. Okay. I Are you intrigued? What are we going to do with this? Okay, so now we're going to take these apart and mount them onto a color. And so these pieces are just 1/8 of an inch larger. So this is 2 by 4, this is 2 1/8 by 4 1/8, and so on. And so we're just going to have a little bit of color to pop there. But let's decide what we want our quarter sheet to be. So these are the colors that are kind of in, I didn't have Calypso Coral. And this is actually two-tone cardstock. So I've got like 2 shades to work with. And it's really nice. This is also two-tone cardstock. It's really nice when you're putting together a card that is layered with a bunch of pieces to kind of add that, the two-tone cardstock, because it's a lot thinner, but you still get that same effect. So I just want you to see, when you lay it on the different colors, like what pops out, what colors pop out. So this is on Pool Party. And so you really see like the petal pink and the Calypso. And then let's just switch it here. You see how it just kind of changes how the collage looks? So play around with that. And when you use multiple colors like this, see, this one kind of just brought it, made it nothing pop as much because there's more petal pink on here. I don't know if that makes sense. So I was kind of decided between these two, and then I ended up going, I think, with this one because I just liked the contrast a lot. So that's what we're going to do. So now we take these apart and we put them onto their little mats. And you do the matting with this technique because when you stamp on 3 layers at one time, the edges where the papers overlap, you don't get crystal clear image. And so you just need a little something to kind of help cover the gap. Okay, so these are ready to mount, but I wanted to do one more thing. Since this is two-tone cardstock, let's go ahead and run it through an embossing folder too, because that's just fun. And we'll use the new Damask embossing folder. This one is not 3D, so we don't need the extra gray piece. We just need our 2 acrylic plates. So there is that. It's really beautiful with the two-tone because that comes on through. And we're just going to sand it a little bit to help that pop out. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and attach these. So I'm making sure, I'm looking at where I stamped the images to make sure they're lining up. That way your design is, oops, I was gonna pop that up. Definitely want to pop it up. Usually I pop up this one, so we'll try it a little bit different. There we go. So this way, with the little mat, you've got continuity on your patterns. This is a basic white card. Okay, I love that. That's so much fun. You could do that all day, right? So we're going to use one of the pieces in this stamp set, Gallery Blooms, to be our little die cut. I picked this one. And I really want to incorporate all of the colors into it. And so here's what we're going to do. So this is a solid image. And so if you stamped it in one ink color, it would all be the same. And so what we're gonna do, I feel like I'm far away today and then I get too close. We're gonna use, we're gonna try to ink it individually. So I'm gonna take my Petal Pink ink pad and I'm going to just use the corner of it because it's pretty easy here to ink up those flowers in Petal Pink. Like that. And this is where if you you have some of the Stampin' Spots, it's really helpful to ink images like this. So like if you're a paper pumpkin person, you get a different color spot in every monthly box. So you can kind of help build your collection. So again, I'm just using the corner, especially where it gets kind of tight here. You could use a marker. Markers work great for this, but sometimes the color isn't as dark as you want it to be. Okay, so that's pretty peacock. And I'm going to take my Calypso Coral marker, and I'm just going to add a little bit of color to those. I was just hanging out with Stampin' friend Mimi, and she reminded me of the thumping technique. So you just kind of like pounce the tip of your marker onto what's already been stamped, so you get some different colors going on there. You can see, kind of get a mixture of the Petal Pink and the Calypso Coral, especially with something so small. That thumping technique is kind of cool. Okay, I already cut this out. No, I don't think I did cut it out. I meant to. Let's do that real quick. And then this card is done. Oh, my fingers are definitely sticky, Donna. That is always the case. All right, so this is going to be our little pop here. And I went ahead and cut out some of the other dies that just cut greenery, and I picked the colors just so this has a little bit of separation from the card. So we'll just now I'm going to be really sticky. That was too much. Too much. And so I'm just that'll kind of help with the separation of this busy background and this little die cut here. Okay, so I am going to show you the finished card here. So that's just going to go right there. We're going to add a greeting and some embellishments. I put a little gold ribbon on there and then used those fun pretty peacock with gold flecks. Okay, this one's definitely my favorite just because I love to collage so much, but I like that you have options for this template that don't necessarily have to use designer series paper. So this is my other current favorite stamp set for collage. This one is currently available. It's part of a suite called Botanical Textures. This is just a stamp set. Actually, no, it comes with these frames if you want, but the stamp set is great for collaging. And so I did one that's all monochromatic with, basically monochromatic with the Peacock, Lost Lagoon, and Pool Party. And then just added a little bit of crumb cake, same concept. Okay, hopefully you're thinking about right now, like some stamps that you have or a color combination. All right, let me show you one more thing and then I'm going to bring all the cards back out here. I'm going to read the comments. Betty's asking, how are you using your dimensionals? So this was a tip that I learned from Jilly Bling. Go watch her. She's amazing. Jill Nolan. She's the Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. When you get a new package of dimensionals, you take clear packing tape and you put 2 swipes over it. You trim it, obviously, and then the backings all stick to your packing tape, and you don't have to, you can just kind of keep that on there and peel them off on the inside. It's the greatest tip I ever learned from Jill. Just mind-blowing. Okay, so I've been trying to think about when I do a template, how can I incorporate that into a scrapbook page? And so I changed the dimensions up a little bit. Oops, other way. There we go. To make this cluster that you could put on a scrapbook page. Obviously, you could enlarge it more and put a larger square photo on there, but I thought I'm going to keep it as part of the page and then have spaces for, accenting, right? So I did 4 inches. So instead of 2-inch perfect friends, these are 4-inch perfect friends. And this is 4 by 8. This is 4 by 7. And this is 4 by 4. And then that kind of creates the little cluster. And then I just added spaces for some smaller 3-inch pictures. And the title, this is going to be for my daughter's birthday. She just had a birthday in April. And so this isn't even using a scrapbook kit. This is just using the package of 2-tone cardstock that coordinates with the Wildflower Celebrations Designer Series paper pack. It has all of this ephemera in it and this beautiful foil paper. And so I thought that turned out pretty easy. Okay, let's bring our cards back. I'm going to read the comments and you can let me know what you think about card template number 30. Of course, if you're brand new to me, this means there's 29 other templates available for you to look at and use for inspiration. So we're building quite a collection together, and these are all free on my website. So you can head over there. There's a link to the blog post that will take you to the template, but there's also a card template library, which isn't completely up to date, but it has most of them. Right now, I need an assistant to help me. Which one's your favorite? What do you like about this template? This one's really growing on me with this little ephemera focal point. Although I love the simplicity of this one, it's very striking. What do you think? You are very welcome, Pamela. I'm so good. I'm so glad that you like the scrapbook, adding that in. Thanks, Tony. Thank you, Sarah. Hi, Faye. Good to see you. Hi, Roxanne. I'm laughing at Susan's comment. Sticky fingers. Thank you, Terry. Yeah, the two-tone cardstock I think is going to be a really great addition to our repertoire for stamping for a bunch of different reasons, but I keep finding new things to love about it. Thank you, Grace. She likes that the Pretty Peacock really made that up, made the other colors really stand out by putting that darker. Thank you, Beth. Hi, Stephanie. Collaging is therapeutic. Absolutely. Hey, Gina. She loves the white. Yes, this would be great. Ornetta said this would be great for a card class. Yeah, if you're a demonstrator or you're doing a party, this would be a great little template to teach your customers or your stamping friends. Hey, Cindy Trainer. So good to have you. Linda likes the vellum one. It is hard to cut them when you've got that. I had a hard time cutting that vellum too, not because it was hard to cut, but because it was so beautiful as a full sheet. You know how that goes. Excellent. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm glad that you joined me today. So your homework is to print out the template or download it and look at it if you want, and then come up with your version of this design based on kind of all the different ideas. If you've got some ephemera at home, or look at your die cuts in a different way to try to find something that's about 3 to 4 inches. That would be just a perfect, I bet you've got something perfect that will go right there. Or maybe you have a punch that would kind of span that area where you're going to want something to pop out, and see what you come up with. And then come share it on our Facebook group, Robin's Really Super Stampers. I'm so glad that you were here today, and thank you for everything. Thank you for those beautiful cards I received in the mail. And I will see you in May, which is happening very soon, isn't it? So everybody take care, and we'll see you next time.